Greetings, heroes, villains, and vigilantes. Welcome to another chapter review by me, Duuz-Diz-Din, of My Hero Academia. This time it's chapter 208, titled The Fourth Set Concludes. And you can only imagine my surprise as we come to find out that this battle only took 2 chapters to go down. It's unfortunately brief, and it doesn't do Class 1B any favors in its execution, but at least there's a good explanation going on here. Not to mention, it continues a certain trend. So our chapter picks up with Bakugo blowing away the blade quirk user, Kamakiri, just knocking him away, but he manages to dodge, or at least defend, by bringing out a blade from his forearm and his shin in order to guard against the explosion. And Setsun is, who's observing and a strategist for this team, is kind of taken off guard. And Jiro remembers that Bakugo had stated before the start that he would be the one to come in and save them, his usual arrogant self. And he tries to go in on Kamakiri, knocking him away. But the plan was, for Class 1B, should Bakugo start to engage them, they do a quick retreat as soon as possible. And even, Monoma notices, it's just like, well, that's very unlike Bakugo to go in and try to save someone. That's kind of weird. But Kaminari notes that, yes, you did see correct, but he still did it in his crass way by kind of kicking her out of the way. But Kaminari and Kirishima, who are probably the closest things to real teammates that Bakugo normally has, they've noted the fact that Bakugo has, grown and adapted, and Monoma's just completely shocked because everyone has this set way of looking at Bakugo, and for the most part, that's actually turning against them because they've put Bakugo in this corner and this mental frame of, oh, he's always crass, he's always demanding, his personality is what will bring down the team. But that couldn't be further from the truth here. Even Kirishima notes, it's just like, it was always there deep down. They just needed some time and experience in order to bring it out of Bakugo. And, Jiro thanks him, and, he's just like, yeah, whatever. But they notice it's just like they're getting away, and Bakugo declares to the rest of his team, it's just like, look, we're going to win this 4-0. Everyone gets out of this unscathed, and we take down the enemy. So it shows that Bakugo is taking this seriously. He's understanding what needs to be done to be a great hero, in the fact that a great hero makes it out with as few casualties as possible. So if you get out of this without losing anyone, that shows a level of skill that surpasses many others. So, Bondo's retreating, Setsuna's doing her best in order to make as much interference, they try to rethink their plan, thinking of it with Bakugo in mind, but they're finding that, Bakugo isn't really making the mistakes they expected out of him. Jiro then notes, it's just like, hey, there are fewer sounds than before, showing that Setsuna's ability, is starting to kind of wear off. She's not able to divide up into as many pieces, and she's starting to kind of regroup as time goes along. So Bakugo just goes off in search of the various other members of Class 1B, and then Awase comes in with these metal chunks, and as Bakugo goes flying across, Awase just melds them into Bakugo's body, like really fast too. It's just like, I didn't realize Awase's ability could work this quickly. And he just locks Bakugo into some piping, and Awase's just like, okay, we got him. were able to completely just take him down. Meanwhile, Sero is off taping up some unknown object. So obviously there's a plan in motion here. And Bakugo gets Sato to come in, as backup, not even missing a beat, and just blasts Bakugo out of the restraints, but he still has these giant, like, metallic rods just kind of sticking out of his back, and it looks really cool. His gauntlets were destroyed because that was the only way to get out of that. And it's really an intense look he has going on here. And so as Awase notices that Bakugo's coming in on him, Awase sets up like this kind of defensive shield in order to block against Bakugo. But Bakugo's not even going for Awase. He immediately goes around continuing his attack on Bondo, because I feel that he thinks that Bondo's the worst problem there. With his sticky substances, he's the one who can probably create the most disorder within the group. So he basically just leaves them to Jiro and Sero, who tapes up Awase, and Jiro comes in and just blasts him with a max, point blank pulse of sound from her arm cannons that we can see she can detach and just have them go out remotely and just blast people. And it's just like, it's fluid, it's quick, it's like they are not missing a beat in any way, shape, or form. And we come to find out that Bakugo had it where not only did he say he would rescue them if they should be in trouble, they should come in and rescue him should he be in trouble, showing the depths of the amount of teamwork and strategy that Class 1A is capable of. This is Class 1A at its best, working on the fly quickly as possible. Just back me up where I need it, make up for my weaknesses, and just understand what I'm doing without even planning or thinking about it. That's the full capabilities of Class 1A, and it really shows here. Class 1B, their planning was solid. This was solid planning on Class 1B's side, but because of the intelligence they had, they weren't prepared for some development, some unknown development to have actually gone on with Bakugo, and that's where they ended up losing. And so, sets in his pieces, try to start to come together, but she tries to warn Bondo that Bakugo's on his tail, but it's too late. Bakugo completely blasts Bondo into oblivion, and then Sato comes in from behind and manages to capture Bondo. So Bondo's out of commission. Awase is taped up. Class 1B is falling like dominoes, and Monoma and Setsuma are just like, what's going on? This is impossible. Bakugo normally charges in, and but the others are actually following through on what his more rash action. They're flowing so perfectly. There's no lag in their movements. Normally they should have been able to find a small opening and exploit it within this team, but they're making up for each other's, weaknesses and incapabilities, just following through, doing what needs to be done without even being told what needs to be done. Everyone in Class 1A is just like, Bakugo's improved. He's come a long way. He's still crass and brash, but, he's actually learned a bit of teamwork. And we get this great aside from Kirishima and Kaminari. It's just like, band practice from the, Culture Festival actually played a big part in this because he understands rhythm and timing. Of all things, rhythm and timing from playing the drums have actually managed to make him better at understanding what needs to be done in certain situations, knowing what to look for in order to have your team just come in and back you up. So it's like incredible, this just incredible sense that Bakugo has come a long way. But you also got to give it up to, Jiro, Sato, Sero. Everyone is bringing their A game and showing a world of strategy here. If you come in hot, you can make a lot of mistakes. But if you have a good team behind you who are able to just understand what you're capable of and make up for any mistakes you should make or any shortcomings, then you can dominate. Whereas they were trying to throw 1B was trying to throw Class 1A off guard and, exploit any instances of weakness in them. Class 1A was able to go in and just hit them hard and fast. It was actually a good strategy because Class 1B was unprepared for Class 1A actually coming at them this way. Had Class 1B actually stuck around and gone as head to head as possible, they might have been able to turn the tide. But because they didn't, Class 1A was able to pick them off one at a time. And Jiro calls out to Bakugo where Kamakiri is, and so Bakugo goes racing in order to just dominate Kamakiri. Just throws, just starts blasting all around him, dodging, ducking, diving, weaving, and then he throws Kamakiri into a metal pipe and just knocks him right out on the spot. And Sero makes an astute observation. It's just like, when it comes to Setsuna, she can split off her body parts, as I was saying before, it's just like, but she has a limitation to this. Very much like Yaoyorozu, she's only able to do so much. She's only able to produce so many pieces, and those pieces, after a set amount of time, have to come together. There's no keeping herself apart. They have to reform. And because of this, Class 1A was actually able to take Setsuna off guard because Sero stuck one of Bakugo's grenades that he keeps in order to give to allies, which I think is something very much worth noting because Bakugo has had these the entire time, these little canisters to fill up with his sweat in order to give to allies. And Bakugo has had this entire time, and he's always given them to allies to use. Bakugo, despite being the most, less team effective person, actually, probably lets his allies use his equipment the most, which says a lot. And so with one of his grenades attached to Setsuna, it detonates, showing where Setsuna is. And so Bakugo is able to go in, blast off his stun grenade, completely incapacitating Setsuna right there and then, claiming the victory of 4-0 in Class 1A's favor. And this was fantastic. If you're going to have a fight only take so few chapters, this is the way to do it. I feel bad that we were only able to see so much from Class 1B, but there's only so much they actually do, Setsuna's abilities are pretty good. Awase, the various members, their abilities are fairly good. However, when it comes down to it, the level of combat ability of both, Sato and Bakugo, they're outmatched. The level of, reconnaissance that Jiro brings to the table, they're outmatched. The level of, capture ability and just, being able to versatility that Sero brings to the table. It's just like, his ability is just tape. If you plan it correctly, having this, basic human tape dispenser with this substance that just sticks to pretty much everything, that actually is a great asset to have, and they used it perfectly. And I feel that it's very unfortunate in terms of when it came to Yaoyorozu's team, because they had the capabilities and the potential. It's just that not everyone was able to use it to the fullest extent. Yaoyorozu, brought a lot to the table, and so did Tokiyami. But I feel like Hagakure and Aoyama they were only able to do so much, and that's the unfortunate part. You have to know what your teammates are capable of, and if need be, switch them out in terms of certain things. So that's ultimately what their shortcoming was. But here, everyone worked together, everyone was useful, everyone had a role to play, everyone did their part under the leadership of Bakugo, which shows just how far Bakugo has come. Bakugo has for a while now been a fairly competent leader and strategist. It's just that we haven't seen the full extent of that, and I feel like we're really seeing that character growth, and all of that is paying off. The full potential and capabilities of Bakugo are really coming into play here, which shows that he will become an incredible hero if he can at some point lose the attitude. But even then, it's just like that harder edge, melts away under the face of just knowing. It's just like, I could use your help here and there. So it's just like the very fact that he even accepted help from the others, that also shows that Bakugo has come a long way. But hey, tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. What did you think of Class 1B? Do you feel that, Class 1A had the easier job because they were all fodder? Or do you find that because Class 1A was so capable in terms of this, that's why they were able to dominate Class 1B the way they did? Because honestly speaking, I feel that Class 1B had a great plan going. No one was actually thinking that Bakugo would have had the potential for growth, and that was their downfall ultimately. Class 1B could have won this had they actually not hinged all their planning on the fact that Bakugo is an abrasive person. But again, tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. If you liked what I had to say in this review, leave me a like. If you didn't like what I had to say, feel free to leave me a dislike and tell me what I'm doing wrong in the comment section below. And hey, how about subscribing for more chapter reviews of My Hero Academia? The kids are really showing their growth. Thanks for joining me.